wonderful day. Smile like we live, it's a blessing for me. Today the dreams will be on me. Cause I'm having a wonderful day. Hey, hey, I'm having a wonderful day. Smile like we live, it's a blessing for me. Today the dreams will be on me. Cause I'm having a wonderful day. Hey, hey.
What's good?
What's happening? Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam. Ramadan Mubarak, my brother.
Ramadan Mubarak, brother. The last countdown to the last 10 days, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another 10 more to go, brother.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Before we start, man, I want to correct something.
Okay.
Over the weekend, I was looking for some material and stuff, and I came across that Diddy thing. So as it was told that he was in the process of turning Revolt over. So I at this point it might be finalized now, but at that point when we spoke about it, it wasn't finalized, but he was in the action of finalizing it. You know what I'm saying?
So it's actually okay.
Right, and of making that and
making that transition to someone.
Making that transition, yeah. And then I came across some data about he was trying to sue Ciroc. You know the beverage.
Yeah, the alcohol for the alcohol.
He was trying to sue. I think I came across a feed from Luke Skywalker that he was speaking on that, saying that when you go against a certain people, they're gonna come after you when you think you wearing the big shoes at a point. So I just wanted to put that out there, so
Okay.
we do got to dig a little deeper, but we was responding and to what was going on at that point. You feel me? So I just wanted to correct that's in process. He still made a move to try to keep it within a certain circumference. You know what I'm saying? So and I also came across another feed of Chris Brown, right?
Okay, what's up with Chris?
And he was in an interview, and someone was interviewing him, and he was speaking on his accomplishments, and he was like he was in the game for so many years and he accomplished this and that, and he got interrupted, and they was correcting him and like, well, you had some problems, so that takes away a little bit, you know what I'm saying, but you made a good comeback. And he was saying, why is my personal problem feeding into my career?
Business.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, I made a mistake. I did some things, but that shouldn't take away what I accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Because one didn't have nothing to do with the other. But that was an interesting topic. I'm gonna try to find it for the people and put a link so they can look it up and check it out and see what their opinion think about that. You feel me?
Well, that remind me of what we were talking about with R. Kelly and what what they're looking to most likely do with Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your accomplishments are your accomplishments, as well as Bill Cosby. Your legacy of what you accomplish, I personally believe, should not be stained by your personal flaws. You know what I mean? Because we all are flawed. If you looked at the judges, you looked at the prosecutors, you looked at, all the individuals who are empowered to cause other people, harm. If you looked into their personal life, I'm sure you could find something that would make them look like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be here. But nevertheless, they
well,
did.
Look at the president. I mean, like,
well, he said grab coochie.
You know what I'm saying?
The other
he
one,
said,
you know what I mean?
If you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
Yeah. And people, and when asked about reparations, he said, go with the Latinos. Anybody with any sense would go with the Latinos because they're the future. So
and they are making them the future.
Yeah. So and at the end of the day, it's just about,
in my opinion,
it's about your perception and how you see it. You know what I mean? So I mean, and normally I like to, I want to start bringing up something that I post. Like the other day I brought up a post. So I'm gonna look now and look at something that I posted, and I'm gonna ask you, your opinion on it or your thoughts on it. You
Well,
know.
you want to do that on the second half shot so we can
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
cover?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Let's
And
go with what you got. Let's go with what you.
I wanted to cover the children that's in school today, our kids that's going into school today in
Right.
our schools. Like in my area, it's like a big separation in the school. Some of the schools, and I'm not talking about just the charter schools. I'm talking about the public schools where we don't
Right.
want to send our kids now because they're being targeted without giving them any type of, not even the direction of an education that they even gonna work for the United States no more.
And what is these public
That's the
schools?
public schools. Yeah, the public schools, the high school on down. Like, remember how we said the government trained them to become workers for the United States? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
they're
Yeah.
being trained. Now they're not even being trained. You know what I'm saying? They're just being left there to do as they please.
Okay. My thoughts on that is they are being, but they're being guided towards the prison system. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you know, with nothing left to fence for, that's
I mean,
basically it.
right.
Hopefully, like the majority of them, because you have males and females, they won't turn exactly to a life of crime, but they will turn to, they won't have the resources they need to get ahead, so they will suffer. You know, like many of them won't turn to a life of crime, but they won't have no resources to get ahead, so they will suffer. You know what I'm saying? Or they will have to settle for basically whatever is there. You know what I'm saying? Which will drive people to confrontation. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're headed right now. Uh in some of the schools we have the children being totally distracted by the 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 the, the regulations that's not being enforced, like when it comes to the distraction of learning, and they all have their phones all day in school. Now I don't know about down there, but up here they wearing the headphones. So before with the earbuds, now they got the headphones on, so you can't even, they come outside, they crossing the street, they don't even hear you feel me? Then they turn around, they see you, they want to curse you out, you feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, but in school, they're not being regulated. In not all the schools, in some of the schools, in less privileged areas, they're not being regulated to not have these gadgets in class during school, along with the hoodie. Got the hoodie over the headphones, draw the string, and they walking around all day. And they
Okay.
keep that on in school
So I
all
want to
day.
ask you a question. Do you think it's out of uh, the teachers just blatant neglect, not caring, or do you think it's some of it out of them having fear to get into a confrontation with the
I
student?
think it's the parents. The parents got to regulate that, bro. You know, they can't let them out into the world any type of way. It starts off at the home. It's what you allow them to do there. If you, like you said last week, if you know there's a repercussion behind something, you're gonna regulate yourself. You know how, like when we was growing up, we could be wild now in Mr. Marin's class, but in Mr. Kane class or Miss Hell class,
Or Aurelio, or
oh yeah, you wasn't doing
right,
that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's like it has to be. They have to know that it's a repercussion behind the actions. But not only like it's a repercussion behind the actions, they got to know what's the purpose of when they're leaving the home to go to school. We got to start teaching them what they're going for, and to shape this shape, to put us in the shape that we are in now, we have to start teaching them why they're going there for. And they're going there for so they can have some independence, some responsibility, some focus, some patience, some dealing with issues that you don't want to deal with and you know how to cope with it because that's going to come in life all the time. So, and some things that you have to use these tools in order to play the game that they're putting in front of you. You're going to need these tools. You're going to have to abide by these policies in order to know how to shape them so you can get to where you're going. And we're not teaching them that. And that's very important for when they leaving the house and they're going to school and they're going with the music. They get in school. Now, it's a deep thing. You sent me a piece. And it's funny that you sent me a piece with Wyclef talking about vibrations, right? When Nassau hit him up. And I
Right.
heard that in that album.
You
I heard
heard the
that
album.
album
You
that
heard.
he
You know the
yeah,
album he talking about.
I know the album he talking about. You feel me?
Okay.
Because I got that album that he's talking about when he did that. I have that music,
Right.
and it's something totally different. Like he said, it is something totally different, and that vibration is very very serious. So, for instance, if I'm leaving the house, if I'm putting on something to drive me. It's like when you go into the gym, right? You ain't gonna go in the gym listening to slow music.
Right.
You're gonna go to the gym with a pulse,
Some
something to
up tempo.
drive you.
Some
You
up
know what I'm
tempo.
saying?
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna look for a certain BPMs, beats
Right.
per minute, to keep you in a certain way.
Right.
And you're gonna watch their lyrics because some will make you lay back. Sometimes you just want all music. You feel me? And you want a word here and there to just motivate you, but you want that pump. So the vibrations are very important when we're having the children leave with a certain vibration and get to school with that vibration and they're in already a certain manner. Their attitude is already a certain way based on the type of
What they're
music
listening to.
that
Right.
they're listening to. And it does shape us. And before I give it to you, I want to make another comment. I went to a function this weekend and it was beautiful. And the deep thing about it is that they were playing all 90s theme music. And all the music was beautiful. All the way through, they could let the record play. From the 90s to the early 2003, 4, 5, 6. You feel me? It
Okay.
dominated with a lot of hip hop. Rap came in, but it was clean. It wasn't the gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? It was more like Atlanta came in, you feel me? And they were partying. You
Party
feel
rap.
me?
Yeah.
They had
Party. Party.
a lot of go-go, a lot of not go-go like
Right.
Washington go-go, but they had a lot of go-go music for go-go spots. You feel me?
Right. Right.
But it wasn't that vulgar. And we're listening to it, and I'm like, wow, it wasn't that bad. Then the DJ put the now music on. Everybody got up out their seat, even the little kids. And it was interesting, man, because the language that it was speaking, I couldn't even look at nobody, bro. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. And the kids was in there, and this is their music though. This is their vibration. This is what we giving them. So that vibration that we giving them, that we're setting them in, and they're setting, which at the other music they didn't understand it. They couldn't. They was like, oh, huh? They like this the music we came up on. This the music y'all was made on. You know what I'm saying? They like, But then when that other vibration music came, they got up and they had to dance to that vibration, doing that the pony ride. You feel me? They had to do all that type of stuff because that's the vibration they in. And when we send our kids to school or when they're going to school, we're also letting them adapt to a vibration that's distracting them for the rest of the day. Most of them, not all of them. And they're being distracted by the rest of the day. So I think the parents have to monitor them, then send them off to the next person. You know how when you run in a race and you pass the baton,
Right.
we got to get back to that. We have to get back to when the parent has to do the food, clothes, and shelter and pass them on, we have to give them that culture and that power refinement, that equality, bro. You know what I'm saying? We have to take over from the parent for the next 8 hours, and we have to make sure they in that good vibration, and then send them back. You understand? They're having too much all day in the wrong vibration continuously. So they may pick and choose a teacher to be good here and there and here, but the majority of all day in certain areas with certain schools in certain city areas, they have this vibration, man, and an attitude, and that's is very disturbing, should I say. You can feedback on that, bro. I know it was a lot, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dry as hell.
Well, yeah. Well, based on what you were saying, is with the parents being more proactive in the children's life rather than than reactive. I agree. You know what I mean? Where the children gonna need more guidance. And I sent you something where it was talking about uh, Serena and Venus.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
got
know, they were told what to do. Michael Jackson was told what to do. Floyd Mayweather was
Mayweather,
told what to
yeah.
do. You know, and all the individuals that were told what to do turned out to be phenomenal individuals in what they were being groomed to
Directed
do.
in, right,
Being
exactly.
groomed to do. So it stands to reason that if and when we give our children direction and we start to give them instructions on what to do and where to go, as you were saying, when they go to school, if we start telling them, look, you're going to school so that you can learn how to interact with people socially first. You know what I mean? And you're going to school to learn that life is not always about what you want to do. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do because it's necessary to build a better future for yourself.
So you could
We
do what you want to do, right?
Right, because we have a lot of young people and older people as well that like to do what they want to do. Now, when it comes time to do what they need to do, now they turn around looking for help. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So when you have individuals like that, it creates a gap in our movement as a community. It's a
Right.
gap in the culture because everyone needs to be able to carry their weight for the most part. And we all know that at some point, we all may, fall. We all may need some help. We all may stumble. So if we have individuals that are prepared to catch you when you stumble or about to fall, then we all become stronger. But when you have individuals who are, as you said, their frequency is basically about what they can, only about themselves and what they can get and what they want, and hardly ever about what they can do for others and how they can help the masses, you know what I mean, the collective,
Right.
then we have a lot of problems the way they are now, because I personally believe that we have too many individuals who are takers. You know what I mean? Gimme, gimme, gimme. And we have not enough people who are giving. We have a lot, you know what I'm saying? We have a lot of people that are givers, but we don't have enough people that are givers. You know what I mean? Giving information, giving knowledge, giving wisdom, being there for others. This is something that we have to reestablish. We have to reestablish, and it starts with the children. It starts with the children because by changing a generation, we change our future. You know, you and I spoke on something before earlier where we were talking about based on our belief system, where a lot of us were taught to believe that this world is just going to get worse and there's nothing you can do about it but just stand by and watch it. You know what I mean? And as long as we have that attitude or that perception, then what's going to happen? The world's going to get worse because you already believe it's going to get worse. And I think I sent you something with a brother where he was saying how positive affirmations said out loud 3 to 6 times can restructure your DNA. You know what I mean? Can restructure how you perceive yourself as well as how others perceive you. I mean, let's take the religious aspect of where the Bible says or the Quran says, you know, Allah says, be and it is. These are words and it happened. So if we have the power of words, then if we start speaking positive on our lives, then we're going to start seeing more positive affirmations. We're going to start seeing more positive outcomes because, far too often, and, I've been guilty of this as well. When it comes to our culture, it's been a lot of what we are unable to do or what we're not doing, where it's very little of what we're capable of doing, because we're capable of superseding the expectations that we can't even imagine.
We show that with inventions, yeah,
Right,
100%.
right. So if that's the case, this is the type of energy and attitude we have to, it will benefit us to start instilling in the young people. The young people, you know, like I said earlier, they are our future. We love them. And the more we can instill in them to guide them and make them the best human beings that they can be, the better off society is going to be. Not just us as a culture, they're going to be a benefit to society. And this is the type of mentality that we have to start, you know, putting in
Right, I agree.
each other's heads, the
Right,
children's head, because
right.
we we got to start seeing ourselves, better than what we've been seeing in the past, because from here on up is the future. The past is necessary to understand what you don't want to do. You know what I mean? What you don't
Right.
want to do, or how you want to do something based on what you did in the past. The past is not meant to hold you hostage. The past is not meant to dwell in. I mean, hence, let's think about when you drive in the car. You got the rear view mirror. You got the little mirror just to look back. You know what I mean? You ain't got a big
Just a
giant
view.
mirror.
Just a
Yeah,
view.
right, yeah. You look back for a minute and your future is
Is
in that front window.
is in the windshield, right?
You know what I'm
What's through
saying?
the windshield, right,
Right.
bro?
So you focus on what we're gonna do moving forward.
Right.
And I find that there are many of us who get caught up in what we've done, and we get stuck on believing that we can't move beyond what bad has happened in our life. You know what I mean? You're not what you did wrong. You're not defined by what you did wrong. And we have to look at how American society kind of subconsciously perpetuate that to us by taking people actions, and then this is who they are.
Well, in a sense, in a sense, it's who they are if they take upon that lifestyle and continuously doing it. Everybody is subject to their own errors and they mistakes. But like you said, and I'm gonna use that as an analogy, I'm gonna take that away from. When you looking in the rear view mirror, you got the right and you got the left mirror.
Right.
And you got the mirror that you look and back. So you can look back and you can see what's coming, right? And you can see what you did wrong and you can see what you did right. And you can go forward by looking through the
Absolutely.
windshield and going forward. Some of us do take upon that and we're continuously doing the negativity and it defines us because that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So if you continue like you like I met mad brothers, you feel me? And I know mad brothers like you can do things and then it's like the man who killed 99 men, bro. You feel me? It's a story, an Islamic story, and it's a there. And on his way to repent, someone told him he couldn't do it. So he killed another man, which was 100. You understand?
Right.
But he wanted to change his life, but he was a killer. But he didn't want to do it anymore. And he died trying to get to land where they said this is where you can go repent. And he passed away, right? But his intentions was this is what I want to do. But his actions was something else because somebody told him he couldn't do it, and that's who he was. He was a killer. He killed, but did he want to kill? Did he want to continuously to kill? So some of us could take on that trait, and we could be that. But then we also can change. Also, like you said, if you could do, you can will it. If you tell yourself you could do something, you could do that. You know, if if you got to put it in terms. If I told if you told yourself you could fly, if you told yourself you could jump off the Empire State Building, I can, but I'm going to get the right tools in order to do it. I may get a parachute, I may get a flyer, I may get a jetpack, and I may jump off of it, and I could survive that because the way I approached it. Don't mean I can't do it. If I wanted to fly, I can get in the plane and I'll be flying. I don't mean that I'm gonna flap my wings and I'm gonna go fly. So the reality of what you're telling yourself has to be the reality what you can connect with your own with the spirituality and the vibrations and everything else that's out here. You gotta be able to connect the reality with something. You can't connect a falsehood with something or a doubtfulness with something because then it's not going to connect. Because as you know, spiritually everything is really positive when it comes to spirituality. If you putting it out there in a negative way, you're blocking those blessings and you're creating something else and you're blocking those blessings, in my opinion. So, you can do upon what you take your trait as. So if you take yourself to be negative and you continuously doing that negative action, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? But and then that do apply to you because that's what you do. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
but how about see, and I hear exactly what you're saying. Now, there are individuals who continuously do the same thing over and over again. There are individuals who periodically do things, you know? So the thing is, okay, what I've seen is people have a legacy, like even with, let's use Michael Jackson. We many of us grew up on Michael Jackson. We saw Michael Jackson as an icon, as a legend, as someone from a child to a grown man was guided. And, he made music that brought the world joy.
Right.
Joy, dance, all different types of emotions. Now, then that was tainted with an accusation, one accusation. You know what
Right.
I mean? That he messed with children.
Right.
And that had people like all the other stuff, like what happened. So I'm saying in that type of, you know, aspect, or even when you're in a relationship, and say, you know, your wife asks you to cook, you cook every day. Then one day you're tired, you just don't feel like cooking. And then she, you don't never cook for me. You know what I mean? And we have a tendency to do that to each other, where we take one situation that didn't work out the way we would have liked to or the way we wanted to, and then we place that on the
That's
person.
because it's designed. We are taught to take the negativity and live upon it from someone, but not the positivity and encourage that. So we are more learned to and influenced to take the negative aspect of it and live that out. And that should wash away anything else because the way it's presented, it's like this person, if you acknowledge this person any other way, you too of these people, or you too is like that. It's like how we grew up and how our generation grew up before us. You know how we used to roll over, we used to roll up on it, and how white people used to react to it, especially up on the east side. You feel me? How they used to react when we walk in, they want to cross the street, they want to hold their thing, and this was real. You feel me? Based on not knowing us, but just knowing that somewhere, someone similar to us, or look like us, or from the same culture, committed something, and that's all they know. So, despite that, they like the black athletes, the entertainers, and everyone else, but when they seen us, all of that got diminished. They ain't think about none of that. They only thought about the bad, and that's how we're programmed, also.
Okay, now that leads me into the question that I wanted to ask you earlier. Do you think slavery affects how people who acknowledge themselves as black see themselves, as well as how others see us as well? You know what I mean?
I think, in my opinion, that the reminder, keep reminding you of slavery is also putting a vibration out there. So you cling to this, so you become that. We're shaped to be that and to hold on to that, to identify with that, to be controlled. Long as we think that that attachment is still attached to us in such a way of controlling us. Before, it controlled us totally. Now it controls us through policies and regulations and laws, and it's tried to enslave our actions. But mentally, we're free. Physically, we're free. The way we choose to think enslaves us. It enslaves us. And that's influence. That's influence upon us. Because we'll all say that we free, we can do whatever we want because that's what we put out there. And we can. And some people go against the straight up with the law and they win. They win. And some of us don't, because some of us, and you said this yourself, even about me, if I think they're that powerful, that could be it. And I used to be like, it ain't that they're that powerful, it's that they're that evil. You know what I'm saying? They're so evil, they do devious stuff which you won't even think about. They go to the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? And while you'll have a conscience, when you get to that level and you be like, yo, I ain't gonna do him. I'm gonna see how he move. He just stay down. We done. And they keep coming and they keep coming, and you still restraining yourself. With them, it ain't like that. So I think that when it comes to slavery and how we is, it's not that we're still think we're in slavery based on how slavery was. I think we're taking upon that, applying it to ourselves because we feel we can't do no better or be no better or cannot be free from, not free, but free from the the the
The
the
stain,
the
the stain
the
of it.
the well, free
Right.
from how they wrote that constitution. You know what I'm saying? Being free from how they embedded that in there and how our lives are affected by it. In America, we're not going to be free from that system unless that system is no longer. But our mentality And some of us do take it and be like, well, we slaves from our ancestors were slaves and we gonna be slaves. No, 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 you're not. You're not. Because those slaves, when you put them together, bro, they couldn't move like we moving. They couldn't do like we're doing. They would have been, if that was the case, they'd have been wiped us. They disciplined them very early, separated them very quickly. It's not
So
that easy to do that nowadays.
right. So let me tell you why I asked the question. I asked the question, does slavery affect how we see ourselves? The reason being, does it affect how we see ourselves is when we look at ourselves from a view, as you said, our ancestors were, you said they weren't able to move. We can move differently. You know what I mean? So it to me, it affects us subconsciously because at the end of the day, let's look at it like the perception of people, equal people, only different is complexion, was able to take from the story of slavery millions of people, bring them to a country and take away everything from them and allow them to work for free. That perception alone, to me, when you say people clutch their purses and all of that, that's based on perception. So that slavery, you know, concept has put together a perception of when it comes to people who identify as black that, look, my personal belief that we are supposed to get less and give more to other people because that's the history. And we have to look at it as, hold up, we're in a country that we have witnessed blatant lies. So, as you said before, why do it comes up so often about slavery and us being mistreated? And then if you talk about reparations, it's like, oh, that didn't happen when on our watch, so throw that out the window. And reparations really is nothing but repairing something that went wrong. And we have the ability to do that ourselves, to repair what went wrong with us. And, I differ from you a little bit when it comes to many of us. I think many of us have allowed ourselves to be mentally enslaved because of our view on life and how we view the system around us. And as you were saying before, when I was saying that the power of the system and the power of taking laws and laws being applied to us in a certain manner, we don't question that. We take it on because of our skin color, and my thing is it really based on our skin color, or is it based on something else that we not even sure of, that we don't have knowledge of at this point? You know what I'm saying? Because for us to say, okay, black people are treated other than, and that we have the ability to change everything for ourselves, because our goal is right now to treat ourselves better than anyone could ever treat us. That's what we have to take from it. And my view, I believe we have allowed ourselves to be manipulated to feel like other people will rescue us, or other people are more capable of rescuing us than we are of rescuing ourselves.
I think that's
And I think some of us feel that way. And I'm not going to say all of us, because there's never all of
I
us.
don't I don't I haven't experienced, or I haven't experienced that in our generation, bro. No, I
That
haven't
what?
felt people feeling like somebody gonna rescue us, or that. I feel a lot of independence, which caused a lot of separation amongst us, for people feeling like they could do it, and nobody they gonna do it, and they're not gonna be in that situation, and they're not tied to um, that that philosophy of that type of slavery, but knowing that there is a type of slavery that affects us mentally in this country, because it is, period. But I don't think it's on that how you're saying it and attaching it to, and and it's it's not as a large majority how it used to be with other cultures that's around us. There's some cultures that's coming and to America that's been in worse situations than we've been in America in their own country. They've been dealing with a lot. So when they see what we have, it's a lot to them. It's a whole lot to them. So I think they just see like I'm just coming from, like, when I sat down with my sheikh and he used to teach us, and he said he used to go to high school with an AK. He used to have to go to school with his gun out. When he went to the store to get some bread or rice, he used to have to carry his joint there and back. Because he used to laugh when we used to be like, oh, in our hood. He said, your hood ain't nothing compared to where I come from and what it was like for me. Nothing compared to that. And when he come here and see how it is, and we're so separated to allow it to happen, that was amazed them. So they come and they stick together, and they don't let that affect them as it affects us, and we're tied, or we, like you say, we feel like that tie us, so we still on this cord, this biblical cord, or we're being controlled like puppets and saying, well, we at this point. I don't think it's like that. I think we know what we can accomplish, and I see a lot of that in us. Accomplishment, success. I know I could count off more than 10 millionaires that I know personally, that successful and that's doing great. That's not it, but it is a lot of separation.
Right. Now,
So you don't see it together, and it's like right now, you see one man. Well, you seen one man, then you seen another, then you seen another, and they only dwell on, and they put that out there, and that's where the slave mentality comes, because now they can control your thinking, what your thought is, your emotional thought. You feel me? Because you're angry at emotion, and they make you look at this person. So now your emotional anger is steered at this person, and so now you going bad, 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 not realizing, or you just want to classify it now and say, well, we all together, and that's messed up. You still don't realize that, no, that's not it. That's not it. Because you got to remember, in a it take a village of people, right, to raise a child, right?
right.
So why are we letting another village come in and discipline and raise and direct us to what we think about an individual?
Okay.
So, and that now that is an
Hence, back
attachment,
to
that's an attachment of the mentality of influence, and that's what enslaves us. But I don't think, like,
well,
we think slavery still got us thinking like in a negative way, or dragging our feet and hoping for, the promised land like that. I don't
no,
think
no.
that.
Well, I didn't mean it in that aspect. I meant it in similar to what you said, that by us having the history of that, where our ancestors were supposedly controlled by uh, those whom we call the colonists, the Europeans, whatever we want to call them,
Right.
that same mentality kind of subconsciously spills over to us now, because we have a tendency to be more lax when it comes to that. Where you were saying that, okay, we have a, we separate from each other. Some of us separate from each other, and then there's influence or there's waves that's being put out that perpetuates this is the best way to do it, and we gravitate towards that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's what I'm saying. Now, when these wavelengths come out saying, like you say, 10 millionaires. Now, those 10 millionaires, do they know each other?
Nah, not all of them.
But a few. You
A
know what I'm
few,
saying?
yeah.
So it's just a matter of us. Yeah. Well, you can join in. We chopping it up, about us and how we can be better than what we are.
How we can
And
raise our children better.
you know
How
what I
we can
mean?
send them
It's,
out into
it's
the world.
about improvement, and the main improvement and the first improvement starts with self.
Self
When you start
motivation.
when you start with self improvement, and we only here to get individuals to spark your thoughts and motivate, rising to a higher level of thinking and maneuvering. That's what we're here for. That's the whole goal of the conversations we have. If you have some topics or something that you would like for us to talk about, put them down. Write them down. Write the topics down, because we're open, because it's going to take all of us. The whole thing is for us being more inclusive, where where you were saying that there are individuals who a lot in our generation were like the me. I'm gonna handle me. You know what I mean? The selfish thing, where no, we don't say we and us. It's me. Semen retentions help elevate. What he said? Do you believe semen retention help elevate?
Helps you elevate.
Yeah. Holding. Yeah, if you can hold yourself from good question, because when you spread yourself too thin, we never really talk about that part of it, where a man being able to restrain himself from sex increases his testosterone, and it increases his endurance, as well as increases his self-discipline. So rather than men running around smashing and what they, run into this woman and that woman, yeah, men should be able to refrain, because you remember, you're taking something out of your body. Something is being released out of your body every time you have sex. So it's not strengthening you. It's definitely going to be causing a weakness in you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so semen retention, I believe it can help elevate us.
Well,
I
see,
believe it can.
one thing that we didn't learn until later, myself anyway, that um it's more than the desire of having sex, because then a person is born, and that comes with a heavy price. So it's way above
The
the
pleasure.
desire and the
Pleasure.
pleasure. And when you talk about how to control your pleasure, it has to incorporate with the possibilities of having an offspring or having a baby. Those are possibilities. No matter, sometimes, like protection. Sometimes it don't happen, baby. You know what I'm saying? And you and the baby's being born. So yeah, exercising. And there are ways to exercise your control over that. You know what I'm saying? Like we learn in Islam is fasting. You know what I'm saying? And when you're fasting, you in a higher level of spirituality. So it doesn't come. Your desires does not come, and it can't conflict with that. This is when we do it with meditation, spirituality. When we put forth any type of desire and we meditate on it, this is when our rituals come to play.
Yeah, thank you, Chauncey.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. But see, you're confirming based. basically what I was saying about reframing from sex at times. That's a fasting. You know what I mean?
Right,
You're
right, yeah,
fasting.
yeah, yeah.
You're
That's a fact.
fasting.
Yeah.
You're fasting from sex. So you're keeping your minerals in yourself instead of letting them out.
But see, we have to incorporate that. You know what I'm saying? We have to we have to incorporate that with with our children. We're not tying all of this knowledge and letting them know, like, we have to detail this and let them know what all this and how it interacts and how it's incorporated, because when we was coming up, we was choosing to do what they was keeping away from us, what we didn't know. Now the nowadays, the parents don't keep things away from the children, they let them know, but they also not giving them the, the principles of everything, the responsibilities of everything, and how everything coincide with one thing, and how it can change, and how it affect all
Yeah.
lives that's
Ins-
involved with that. You know what I'm
Instructions
saying?
and directions. Yeah, you need instructions and directions because giving information without properly dispersing that information is just as dangerous, even probably more dangerous than not having the information at all. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be mindful of how we give the information and disperse the information. It's our duties, you know, as OGs now, and as parents, as guardians, as grandparents, as you know, raising the village to impart proper information. You know what I mean? Proper, for proper education because we are doing much better than society paints the picture. You
Right.
know, society paints the picture to keep us on the woe is me. We killing each other. They want the society does that only to keep us discombobulated. So we have to realize that there's so many of us who are on the right path. There's so many of us who are doing what needs to be done, fighting the good fight and winning. We just striving to get more of us to be doing the good, fighting the good fight and doing what it takes to win and getting away from issues that cause us to, function on lower level of self. You know what I mean?
Or disrespect each other, or take an image upon being dislikeful or distasteful to each other based on what society paint in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, uh, both. They were saying raising strong boys or strong girls. We actually need to raise both. The boys should be strong, the girls should be wise, and the boys as well, because we need both of them to be strong, equally strong. Not that I'm saying that they should be equally strong in strength, but they should be equally strong in morals and characters so that they can come together and be able to work together because we need both of them stronger because right now with the present generation it seems to be lopsided. You know what I mean? It seems to be lopsided
it
one way
seems
or the other.
not to cut, but
Go
it
ahead.
seems that it's coming to the reality of the placement of women in the society. Women are very, very strong. You know what I'm saying? They mold, they can make men, because men are the maintenance of women. We oversee them, we secure them. But women are very, very, they raise us, men and the women. They raise them. We come from them. We have to embed also in the children the importance of both their roles. And we got to stop taking away from women and not saying, like, not let them be independent and not make them think they're not independent as they are, but we have to secure their independence. But we got to also allow them to function as women. God made the women very, very strong, Aki. Very, very strong. Way stronger in terms of physical, and mental than we are. What? Give you an example? Okay. You do something wrong, they take it. They do something wrong, you go crazy. You want to kill them. You go insane. You can't tolerate the pain that they go through to no level and to
So emotionally,
emotional level,
emotionally.
and then physically have
Well, for
by
having the
giving
babies,
birth.
from having
Then
the
how about
babies.
them having a monthly every month? You couldn't tolerate none of that because you can't even understand it now. You'd be like, I'm glad I ain't no female. You feel me? So they are very important, and we have to start teaching them those values that they are. And men, and we got to teach the young men growing up. We got to teach them the importance of it in their place, and we have to put this in proper place. See, it's a lot of knowledge out here. It's a lot of wisdom and understanding, but it's not knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, freedom, power, refinement, equality. God, it's not in the righteous order that we're giving it to them. We just giving them this piece, that piece, that piece, that piece. We have to start structuring it, and even and talking about regular issues that affect us as a whole instead of issues that demolish us as a whole, and the individual's personal issues that demolish the whole community and have us all at war with each other for disagreeing or to agree. You understand? It's like we gotta focus, man, on what's really happening, bro. It's like I said, the kids are going to school right now and they got these big headphones on and they're going out into the world. And I'm telling you, bro, look it up. They're going out into the world and they taking a certain frequency with them. And when they get in there and they move, because everybody got it, bro. You listen to music, I could play you so many different types of music and I could put you in so many different types of mood, bro, from the frequency, because I know how to tap into that as a producer. So we could tap into these kids, set them to make them go to school, have a certain, and even not pay attention. We can put them in a mind state where they don't pay attention to nothing and glue them to what they're listening to. And we have to be at home, and we have to pass the baton. When we take when the kids are leaving home, we gotta pass the baton to the teachers, and the teachers gotta do what they have to do. But the kids gotta be taught at home that what the purpose of going to school is. What's the purpose? Not just should I go out and get a job? What if I don't go to college? What if I don't get a job? No, you're going to school so you can build a society. So you can take over. Your inheritance is culture. This is the inheritance that's going to you. The culture is going to you. You got to know what way to go, how to move, how to maneuver, and so forth. And we have to start um teaching and speaking about where we going, what we're doing, and the heck with this other crap. I mean, the other crap is important when it affects us as a people, and we got to talk about it. Yeah, but that can't be the foundation
I
of.
mean,
You feel me?
it's got to be.
In my
It's
opinion.
got. It's. Well, we got less than 2 minutes left.
So should we homeschool or let the board of education teach them? That's a good question. And some of my children was homeschooled and so forth. In which they still gonna have to go to the school. Even when you homeschool them, they still got to go through the board of education to get a cert to get that documentation anyway. But yes, you should homeschool them even if they're going to school. Even when they're coming home from school them. See what type of literature they're giving them. Make them correct, make them go back smarter than they came home yesterday, make them go back to be like, I did my work. Still teach them no matter what. Even if you send them and they're coming back, at least they'll know what the purpose is, why they're going to that building, why they're going to that structure. You know what I'm
Got
saying? Because
30
I'll get
seconds.
educated at home. Exactly. Inshallah.
All right.
In my opinion.
Thank you, Chauncey. Thank you, Chauncey, for your interaction. We appreciate you. Until the next day, I'm SRD signing out.
Big
Check
musty.
out check out my YouTube page. You can subscribe to my YouTube page, Peep Game TV. And till the next time, love.
Peace
peace,
and happiness,
happiness.
inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam.